All right, awesome. It says we're live. You know what? Since this is the first time we've ever done this, I'm just going to move over and check our group just to make sure that I haven't made a mistake.
Okay. My mom just texted me and wanted to know how to get in the group.
Oh, good.
She's in the group. She just wanted to know how
Hey,
to see.
we're there. Awesome. So
Hey, all
listen,
right.
folks, let me get my notes out here because I want to make sure I do this lady justice. So for lack of a better name, we're going to call this our weekly, bi-weekly show, the In This Together Community Forum. And I think that's great. And like I said, we don't have a lot of members right now, but this video will stay up for the duration of the apocalypse, whatever. and however long we're shut-ins, and what our goal is to provide great information for people in the community, and provide positive messages and encouragement and motivation. And today my special guest is Dr. Amber Cann. She is a pharmacist, business owner, a lifelong Kentuckian. She earned her doctorate from the University of Kentucky and then went on to earn a basters degree in business administration from the University of Louisville. And so she doesn't wear blue or red. She
No, I
wears.
have to sign a contract every year that I have no basketball or football allegiance.
And so she works with patients to manage chronic illness and complex medication issues. She also teaches pharmacology to graduate students and volunteers at substance abuse clinics. And she lives here in Oldham County in Buckner, and with her husband, 3 bonus kids,
Yep.
and 5 dogs. So
that is
that is a pretty busy household, especially when everyone is stuck at home. I'm
sure.
Sure.
It's been quite a different challenge this couple of weeks. Yes.
Well, you know what? I was just talking to someone about that earlier today. That a local business owner here in LaGrange that has several locations. Dee Dee Taylor. She owns 502. Why am I trying to make it a secret?
A mutual friend of ours.
She owns 502 Hemp, and she's saying, people. She had to shut down her LaGrange location here because of staffing issues with the coronavirus and everything. And she's saying that local LaGrange people are contacting them at their Louisville location. And I said, that's a sign that people are starting to learn how to deal and put new patterns in place for their daily life. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah. That's not a bad thing that somebody has to get on the phone and say, hey, you're in Louisville. How do I get this stuff? Mm-hmm. No, that's a good thing. People are problem solving and trying to create new ways to manage their new crazy lifestyle. And that is a good thing.
Necessity is the mother of invention, as we say.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And one of the reasons, Dr. Cam, why you're here is what I wanted to do is, first thing, let's address the elephant in the room. There is a lot of social media is a horrible place. And that's one of the reasons why I created this group, is to give people a place to get some positive energy and get some good news for a change and get some good information. So with that, social media, the memes, the fake news stories, there's a lot of misinformation out there about what we're going through right now. And I was just wondering if you could dispel some popular myths out there about the coronavirus and the pandemic and what we're really dealing with.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one I guess I'll talk about is that you don't need more toilet paper. So can we all just agree? Yes. It isn't a GI disease. And so therefore, let's all just be cool on the toilet paper. So, I mean, there's so much misinformation out there. In fact, unfortunately, I was just reading the news this morning. A man in, I think it was out west, Arizona or so, he and his wife both got very ill and he died from taking a medication that certain higher ups in our government had touted as being a cure or a preventive for the coronavirus. He found it not through usual means, but if in a pet store. And he and his wife took it thinking that it would prevent them from getting sick, and it did not. It did the absolute opposite. And unfortunately, I guess, it prevented him from getting the coronavirus because now he's dead and his wife was even, is very sick.
Well,
So those are the sorts of things that I fear that misinformation will lead people to illogical conclusions about how they can take care of themselves. There's a lot of ways that people can take care of themselves, and that is not definitely one of them.
yeah, there's like you said, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and unfortunately, tying back into this group, people use Facebook for news.
Hmm.
And I really think if it's on Facebook, it really needs. There's a reason why Facebook, you're seeing these things pop up to fact check.
Yes.
There's a reason why these are happening, and it's because people are posting things that either that they hope is true, or
Hmm.
posting things that, and the majority of it is just so you'll click on it.
Yeah.
If you click on it, the guy on the other end of the computer makes 3 cents.
Right. And the algorithm of Facebook, not even the developers understand it, I think, but it's designed to prioritize messages that are emotional or that evoke a response. And unfortunately, I think that there are some people out there that would create deliberately false content,
Yeah.
fear mongering, for instance, that gets clicks and therefore makes money, but does not do anything for the public health.
No, not at all. Since your specialty is, working with people who are maybe thinking about, they have a prescription that may counteract with another prescription and things like that. I'm sure you're very in tune with nutritional supplements that are on the market. And what are some things that people maybe not necessarily go down to Walmart to buy, but a trusted source, some nutritional supplements that will help people boost their immunity and make them I'm not just a health coach guy. I'm also a martial artist and a former fight coach. And one of the things we talk about is being a harder target.
Yes.
And that's I think that transcends to your immune system as well. So what are some things we can do to become a harder target for the
Yes.
coronavirus?
Oh, I love that. I love the way that you phrase that. Well, first of all, I'll say there are so many things that are not supplements that you can do to make yourself a harder target. The first is hydrating. I mean, you're not going to argue with me on that one. I'm sure, tell your clients, there you go.
3 a day.
There you go. You're doing it. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I mean, that's always been important, but the immune system requires us to be well hydrated to work properly. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us walk around in a chronically dehydrated state.
Yes.
So if anything, while people are at home and they have, access to their fresh water source, and we have great water here in Louisville anyway, we should take advantage of that. So hydration is a key. Generally, the rule of thumb is about a good rule of thumb is half of your body weight in ounces. So a 200-pound person would need about 100 ounces of water per day to be hydrated.
And that sounds like a lot if you think
Yeah.
8-ounce glasses of water a day is what you're supposed to be getting. So
It can sound like a lot, but I mean, you can jazz up your water in a lot of ways. Now, lots of things don't count. So I would not count sodas or sugary beverages. I don't know that I would even count Diet Cokes or diet beverages. They're not great either. So, but you can put in lots of those, non-impactful flavors that don't have a lot of sugary stuff in them. Or no sugar stuff in them. And I think that can help. In fact, I drink a carbonated source. So I actually like carbonated water. I actually like carbonated water, and I find myself drinking a lot more carbonation water than I do just regular.
Yeah,
Next
hydration is super
thing,
important.
sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. So the next thing I would say is sleep quality. So we are in a state of anxiety and a new normal. Our whole world has been changed even in the past 3 weeks. And certainly with new responsibilities, different responsibilities, that has got to impact our sleep. Our body's rest is so important for immune function as well. And unfortunately, we're walking around dehydrated and probably sleep deprived as well. And that was when we were functioning normally. So our society was functioning normally.
Increase the
So,
stress levels, that makes it even harder.
yes. So sleep is so important, and I think we all know this, and maybe now that we have new patterns of habits that we're starting to, we've been forced upon us in some cases. Maybe this is a time when focusing on sleep is important too, or it's always important, but it's a good time to refocus on it. So, of course, no screens about 30 minutes before bedtime, avoiding meals and alcohol before bedtime. And then I have tried to actually go to bed about 15 minutes earlier. Even if you do it once a week or 15 minutes this week, I go to bed a little earlier. And then it helps me creep up, and just it helps with your mental health. It helps with lots of things with your body's functioning. So immune function is definitely a product of your sleep quality.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The third one I would say is good nutrition. I mean, this is something that we all could do. We could all improve on, but nutrition and getting the body working optimally is so important for the immune system as well. When we are malnourished, or if we have malnutrition, if we are not giving the body the fuel that we need, that is balanced and has a lot of colors in it, the immune system cannot function properly. So making yourself a harder target by giving yourself proper nutrition is even more important now. I would say, eat a rainbow in every meal. Try to have different colors at every meal and get good quality protein sources. Those are two things that I recommend to all of my patients. The fourth thing I would say is get outside. We're in this era where we're supposed to stay home, but that doesn't mean we have to stay inside with the lights off and the blinds closed. Getting outside helps our body create vitamin D. We get the sunlight, and the vitamin D is converted into its useful form. Vitamin D has a lot of function in our body, including immune system function. So getting outside and getting that good vitamin D that we can use. And then also morning walks are actually pretty good, because the sunlight in the morning helps our body sort of calibrate to a circadian rhythm. That will help with sleep. And of course, we know that helps with immune function as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the final thing I would recommend is moving daily. It's going to be hard because people are now, they were at their desks all day in their offices, and now they're on their couch all day in their new office with their new coworkers that are less than 4 feet tall. So yes, it's a challenge, but just immune system depends so much on the daily movement that we get. For one thing, it just helps our lymphatic system drain. So it doesn't have to be exercise, because sometimes that can be a 4-letter word, but it can just be movement. So getting up, making sure you stand every 12 hours or every hour, making sure that you're walking around. If you're able with your job, being able to take breaks, go outside, get the vitamin D that you need.
We just had a question pop up, Doctor. How about vitamin D supplements?
I do think that a lot of people are vitamin D deficient, especially if you are if you're not a dairy drinker, or maybe you're lactose intolerant. A lot of our dairy products are supplemented with vitamin D, but if you don't get vitamin D in your regular diet through those sources, it's hard to get in our diet in general. So that is one of the supplements that I actually do recommend for my patients if they are deficient. A low level that you can get over the counter is perfectly fine. I always recommend that it be combined with a calcium supplement. We typically don't get enough calcium in our diet anyway. But yeah, vitamin D supplements are one of the few things that I do recommend. And if you think that, if you have questions, then you can get a vitamin D panel. There are prescription vitamin D supplements that correct a deficiency, and then you can just maintain good function after that once you get it corrected.
Right. Awesome. I also understand that vitamin D is really important for heart function as well.
Yes. Yes. So vitamin D has a lot of different functions in the body. The heart function is one of them. Our immune system, definitely our bones and how our body creates and maintains our structural system. So yeah, it's not something. I think it's sort of the best kept secret among healthcare professionals,
Mhm.
but it's getting a lot of good press in the last few years because even things like colon cancer, low levels of vitamin D have been associated with higher rates of colon cancer. So, yeah, very important.
Yeah, I started supplementing with vitamin D several years ago. You probably don't know this about me. I have congestive heart failure, which is one of the reasons why my health deteriorated a couple of years ago, and I had to rebuild. I'm the $6 million man, I guess. But I read a wonderful book by Dr. Stephen Massey. Are you familiar with his work?
I haven't read that one. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's the 30-day heart tune-up or something like that, and it's a
Okay.
really good book. I'll send you a link to that when we're off of here. But he is a big advocate of increasing fiber for folks,
Yes.
especially to ward off or even reverse heart disease with high levels of fiber on a daily basis, and vitamin D. He says vitamin D is one of the best things
Mhm.
for your heart out there.
Yep.
Uh, so
I
I'm a
take a
big
vitamin D supplement myself, but as you can see through my complexion and my red hair, I am a sunscreen addict. So, coming from a family where all the women have red hair, we have been vast users of the sunscreen from birth, and so sunscreen actually can block the action of the sunlight in creating our vitamin D. So,
Mhm.
it's important for me as a fair skinned person that is adamant about sun protection to get a little extra in a non sunshine way.
Awesome. What are some other vitamins, supplements that you would recommend for people to use, especially right now, just to amp that immunity up as much as possible?
Well, actually, I don't recommend a lot of supplements. Vitamin
Okay.
D is one of the few ones that overall health, I think it's important.
Hmm.
Problem with supplements is that there is no regulation. People think that if it's on the pharmacy counter, if their healthcare professional sold it to them, that it must do something. Unfortunately, the vitamin companies, the supplement companies, do not have to prove any sort of efficacy. The labeling it'll say things like supports immune function. The problem is they don't have to prove that. They can put it on the label without any sort of studies that show that it does that.
Hmm.
So as a pharmacist, I'm here for the science, and I like to see clinical trials. Drug companies or supplement companies do not have to do clinical trials.
Hmm.
There is a very minimal amount of safety testing that they have to do as well. So, that you have that labeling on there that says the FDA hasn't reviewed any of their claims, and that is absolutely true. It is the Wild West when it comes to supplements, and it doesn't matter whether you get it at Rainbow Blossom or Walmart or GNC. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to call out anybody in particular. It doesn't matter where the supplements come from. They have no overarching regulation that says what is in that bottle. And there are good brands that do have good manufacturing processes. So you could at least there are some brands that you can be sure that each dose has the same amount in every capsule, which seems like something that you would want if you're taking a daily dose of something. But even supplement companies don't have to approve that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you foresee a day where the supplement companies will be regulated as much as regular medication?
No, unfortunately.
Mm.
When I was just getting into pharmacy school back in the 90s, there was a huge legislation that came about. It was being proposed that more regulation be applied to supplements, that supplement manufacturers had to make some of these, do the science and in order to make the claims. They lobbied they lobbied Congress. They appealed to the American people and said, the government is trying to take away your personal freedom, and they're trying to get into your medicine cabinet and tell you what you want to take. And we Americans, we love our right to choose. We like to make our own choices, and we very much need our autonomy as far as our personal health care. So that was overwhelmingly effective, and people in mass called their Congress people and said, no, don't put this regulation. We do not want this kind of regulation. And that's what resulted in the supplement industry that we have today. I do not think that we will ever be in a state where supplements will be regulated like prescription medications.
Okay.
Not to be bleak, but unfortunately, that's where we are.
Well, no, but I mean, you gave us some great tips already on, some of the things we can do. So let's talk about this. I have some questions written down here. You were talking about we're talking about the supplements. How do supplements from specialty stores differ from like something you would get at Walmart, or hell, you can buy vitamins at gas stations now. I mean,
Yes.
so you can buy CBD oil at gas stations now. That's why
Yes,
it
you can.
cracks me up that. So how are how are the differences, and how do you know?
The major difference is the damage that it does to your wallet. That is the main concern. There is no difference as far as what's in the bottle. In fact, a lot of times they're coming off the same manufacturing line, and then different brands will brand it as their own product, but the manufacturing is entirely the same. In fact, when I was in pharmacy school, we did a project where we went to different retailers. So, vitamins, specialty stores, generic drugstore companies, and we did lab analysis on the various products. Some of them from the very expensive brands were great, and at least they had what was on the label in the capsule. Others did not, and some of them had none of what was on the label in the capsule. Some of the drugstore brands or the grocery store brands, same thing. Some of them were truth in labeling, and some of them were not. Shockingly, some of them had things that were not on the label in them, and that results from a lot of bad manufacturing practices. Of note, one of them actually had warfarin in it. Warfarin is a very potent blood thinner, and that can be very dangerous for anybody who is not who's already taking a blood thinner, who has all kinds of chronic conditions, and that wasn't on the label. So, yeah, it was quite shocking.
Well, now we're seeing athletes that are being tested by USADA, which is the same people that test for the Olympics and all this, particularly combat athletes, and I think some of the powerlifting competitions are now using USADA, and these guys are failing drug tests by buying things that are at GNC.
Mm-hmm.
And they're being tested. They're testing positive for things that aren't even listed on the bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is now that they have to, the burden of proof is on them.
Yes. So
they have to take all these bottles and take them in and get them tested. They have to pay for the testing themselves and all this stuff. It's pretty ridiculous. It's almost scary. I don't take a lot of supplements myself, but the ones I do make sure that I'm buying from a reputable company. So with that, I want another myth. Maybe it's a myth, maybe it's not. Maybe we can address it. In some of the circles I run in with the health coaching community, elderberry is really popular for boosting the immune system. And I'm seeing, because of the COVID-19, stay away from elderberry because it interacts somehow with, maybe it can amplify the effects of the virus. And some people are saying, no, you're okay, take it. And I don't know.
What's up with that? What's up with that, right?
Yeah, what's up with that? And what have you heard or what do you know?
I've heard chatter about elderberry too, and my answer is the same. There are no studies that say this. The people who I see claiming that elderberry is um, protective against COVID virus, against getting sicker, against being exposed, those people tend to be the ones that are selling it or who have some sort of invested interest in that. So once somebody can show me a study that is a well done study, double blind, placebo controlled, um, you can change my mind. But the problem is that a lot of these things, while the damage that they do is on your wallet mainly, and they create very expensive pee because that's what you do is you just pee out what you're taking that your body doesn't need.
Yeah.
While it's in your system, it can have a lot of drug interactions. There are so many drug interactions with supplements. Elderberry is no different. And so, what I advise my patients on if they are taking supplements, we go through a very extensive list of their prescription medications, of each and every component of supplements. And most of the time, we eliminate everything because those things can be gotten, not elderberry, but the things that your body needs, you can get through diet. I truly believe that diet can be your medicine and medicine can be your food. So yeah, I mean, there are people who say elderberry is beneficial. I do not subscribe to that school of thought at this moment.
Well, let's talk about nutrition for a second because I know it's one of the first things, when the panic buying started, right? So
Mhm.
everybody thinks they're going to be, locked in their homes for the unforeseen future. And the first thing you go down the aisles and you see all of the spam is gone, all of the beanie weenies is gone, all of the
'Cause
bacon.
that's so
The
good.
bacon was decimated the other day.
Yeah.
And so then the other day I went in. I will admit to enjoying some bacon every now and then. And so, but let me just switch gears for a second. Let me tell you how I knew everything was going to be all right because the bacon shelf was restocked and there was toilet paper.
Oh,
Do you feel that? Do
what
you
a
feel
world. That was like internet Xanax right there.
but people are buying and the vegetables are filled to the top at the
Mhm.
grocery store and people are buying all of this stuff and I don't know if it's because they're afraid they're not going to be able to leave their house or it's people who eat out 3 meals a day already and don't know how to cook or don't know how to prepare their food. I don't know what it is, but when I go to the grocery store and we're talking about how nutrition affects immunity, all the things that are out on the shelves is everything people shouldn't be eating right now to boost their immunity, and
Yeah.
that's worrisome to me. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we're buying comfort food. So
Yeah.
Spam and beanie weenies are really good, so I can't fault anybody for that. Bacon is a food group in and of itself. I grew up on a hog farm, so
Oh, so you
I've
know.
I've had me some good bacon. Yeah, so I think we're adjusting and people are panic buying to some extent and probably not very familiar with how to cook on their own because we do eat out a lot. My family eats out a lot. So, yeah, I think if this goes on longer than we would like it to, which it already has, but all signs say that we may have to endure this kind of new normal for several more months. Then I hope that people will start finding new ways and new joy in their kitchen to find ways to cook healthy meals and find joy with being in their kitchen again. We've lost that to a lot of extent, as have I and as have my family. So we're doing a lot more cooking at home, um, and we're having to be creative and use the things that were in the back of the freezer and yeah, but I hope that we transition more into healthier cooking rather than buying the processed foods and the spam, although spam's going to be spam no matter what.
Sometimes you just got to have spam and eggs.
Spammer's got a spam. That's right.
And it's coming from a coach's perspective, one of the things I talk to my clients about is it's while yes, what you eat is very important, who you are being while you eat that is equally important. And what I mean by that is, are you eating because you're hungry? Are you eating because it's the clock on the wall says 12 o'clock and that's when you're supposed to be eating? Are you eating because you're stressed out? Are you eating because you're angry? Are you eating? So all these things, affect the waistline.
Mhm.
Affecting the waistline affects immunity.
Yep.
Affecting the waistline affects your mood and your behavior.
Which
And
in turn affects the way you're eating.
what's that?
Which in turn affects the way you're eating.
As the Austin Powers character Fat Bastard would say, it's a vicious cycle.
And
Right?
if it's not Scottish, it's crap.
That's right. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Yeah, but it is true. It is true. And if I think one of the things we want to accomplish in this group, someone said, or bored. If you're eating when you're bored, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually tell my patients, so my background is in substance abuse and some addiction medicine. And this applies to healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. Just as it applies to substance abuse. I tell my patients that you halt, HALT. So are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired? And that's a way to sort of
I'm writing that down.
pause the tape. And if you're craving something, then, or if you're, falling into bad habits, think about halt. Are those things affecting how your decisions are being made? And it allows you to, rewind the tape a little bit and see what else you can do and to cope with it.
I like that, doctor. Hungry, angry, lonely, or
tired.
Tired. Writing that down. Everybody write that down. That's good. That's good. That's good medicine right there.
Mhm.
Awesome. So I just wanted to end with one thing. We're about 30 minutes in here. I just wanted to end with one thing, and this is something that I'm thinking, and maybe from a professional standpoint, you can give us some input on this. I think, well, nutrition, making sure you're doing everything you can to boost your immunity, very important. We talked about how stress affects all of that.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I think what is about to happen is everyone is about to be we've got a lull, and what's happening is more tests are happening.
Yes.
And the cases are going to skyrocket.
Yes.
And what I'm telling people is that's just data. The same people are sick. The same people who are going to get sick are going to get sick.
Mhm.
It's not the end of the world. These people are already sick. We just know about them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you shouldn't let that affect you in a way that makes you panic again.
Right. Panic is disordered and illogical thinking, and it's very different from preparation. So we have to be strong to be able to be prepared, but not to panic.
Yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Hey, so Dr. Cann, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Yes. So I have an office in Crestwood where I see patients. My business is Venus Vitality, and you can email me at hello@ambercann.com, and that's CANN is my last name.
Okay. And what we'll do is below this, I'll type in your contact information as well.
Yes.
And,
and my website is venusvitality.com.
venusvitality.com.
Yes.
And Dr. Cann is a member of the group. If you guys have any questions, I'm sure that she is more than happy to answer any questions you have in here.
Absolutely.
Or if you want a private messenger, I'm sure she's okay with that as well.
Oh, yeah.
If she wasn't, she just got volunteered to do private.
I am, absolutely. I mean, the reason I'm a pharmacist is I love helping patients, and we have, healthcare has never been more on the forefront of everybody's minds than the last few weeks. So if I can do something to get good scientific information out to patients and, help us all be healthier, that's what I'm in it for.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right.